Hello, my name is Kindson Munonye, and today we continue on the project cost management knowledge area. Previously we completed planned cost management, which establishes the procedures and guidelines to follow in managing costs in the project. Today we are going to look at estimate costs. Estimate cost is the process of developing an approximation of the monetary resources needed to complete project activity. The benefit is that it determines the amount of costs required to complete the project work. Let's now look at the ITTOs of this process. We have cost management plan as input, human resource management plan. As we mentioned, let's try to remember the process that yields this, the process that produces these items. Cost management plan is the output of the costs of the planned cost management process. Human resource management plan is the output of planned human resource management, and then project schedule is the output of developed schedule. Risk register is the output of identify risks under the risk management knowledge area. The scope baseline is the output of the create WBS, right? Yes, the create WBS produces as an output the scope baseline, and of course we need enterprise environmental factors and organizational process assets. There are quite a number of tools and techniques used to estimate costs. We've seen some of these tools when we under the project time management knowledge area, when we discussed estimate activity duration and estimate activity resources, but we are going to apply these tools and techniques to estimate the cost. We have expert judgment, analogous estimating, parametric estimating, 3-point estimating, bottom-up estimating, reserve analysis, vendor bid analysis, project management software, cost of quality, group decision making techniques. And we have output to be activity cost estimates, basis of estimates, and project document updates. Let's now take a closer look. Cost management plan is needed to estimate costs because it defines how project costs will be managed and controlled. It includes the methods used and the level of accuracy required to estimate activity costs. The human resource management plan provides project staffing attributes, personnel rates, and related rewards recognition, which are necessary components of developed project cost estimate. We need a project scope baseline. Is a very familiar one, made up of the project scope statement, the work breakdown structure, and the WBS dictionary. This is necessary to help us see the breakdown of the activities of which we are going to estimate the costs. Project schedule specifies the type and quantity of resources and the amount of time which those resources will be applied to complete the project work. The risk register helps us to see the possible risks that may affect our cost estimate. Of course, we have to estimate cost for identified risks in the project. Alright, enterprise environmental factors like market conditions and public commercial information can also be helpful in estimating cost, as well as organizational process assets like cost estimating policies, templates, and historical information of the organization. Tools and techniques. Expert judgment is necessary for estimate costs. Provides insight about environments and information from prior projects and from experts. Analogous estimating is another tool and another technique used for estimate costs. It uses the values such as scope, cost, budget, and duration measures from previous or prior related similar projects. It's a gross value estimating approach and sometimes adjusted for known differences in project complexity. Some of these details about analogous estimating is necessary for you to know, so you might have to pause the video and take some time to read through, but just let me highlight the key point. Analogous estimating is used when there is no sufficient information to help estimate the cost, for instance during early stages of the project. It's also less costly, less time consuming, but also less accurate than other estimating methods. Alright, so parametric estimating uses a statistical relationship between relevant historical data and other variables to calculate cost estimate. So talking about parametric estimating, think of calculating using known historical data and other variables. It produces higher levels of accuracy depending upon the data that is used. Bottom-up estimating means estimating costs at a lower level and then aggregating it or summing it up to higher levels. The detailed cost is then summarized or rolled up to higher levels for subsequent reporting and tracking purposes. We have 3-point estimating, which may be improved by considering estimation uncertainty and risks and using 3 estimates. So in 3-point estimating, 3 estimates are taken. The most likely based on a realistic approach, an optimistic estimate based on a best case scenario, and a pessimistic estimate based on a worst case scenario. So these 3 estimates, CO, CM and CP, are hooked together with a formula to generate a single estimate. So there are 2 formulas that are normally used. One is triangular distribution. It gives us that the estimate is equal to the sum of the optimistic, the pessimistic and most likely estimate divided by 3. And beta distribution, also known as PERTs, takes a formula of the optimistic estimate plus 4 times the most likely estimate plus the optimistic estimate divided by 6. So this is about 3-point estimating. Reserve analysis, we've also discussed this a number of times during project time management in the project time management knowledge area. So it means that cost estimate might include contingency reserves, which is budgets within the cost baseline that is reserved for identified risks. Contingency reserve is also viewed as a part of the budget, part of the baseline, and is associated with known unknowns, identified risks, and that a response has been planned for. Contingency reserve may also account for unknown amount of rework. Okay, so let's move on. We also have under the reserve analysis, we can also make estimate for management reserve. Management reserve are associated with unknown unknowns, risks that are not been identified and nothing has been planned for it. Is called known unknowns, and this is not part of the cost baseline but part of the overall budget of the project. Cost of quality. So all the estimates meant to ensure that the project meets quality requirements is also included in the cost estimate, and cost of quality have to do with cost of non-conformance and cost of conformance. So for conformance, we are preventing the events or the non-conformance from happening in the first place. Cost of non-conformance means trying to correct a defect that has already happened. So for conformance, we have prevention and appraisal. For non-conformance, we have internal failure and external failure costs. Project management software is also a tool and technique to be used here. Vendor bid analysis is also a tool and technique. It means that you want to estimate a cost for something you don't really know the cost. So you tell vendors to submit bids, and based on the bids they submit, you're able to have an idea of how much to estimate for this particular item. Group decision making techniques. Team-based approaches such as brainstorming and Delphi technique or nominal group techniques are useful for engaging team members to improve estimates accuracy. So output of estimate cost is activity cost estimates and basis for estimate. Maybe you spend some time to go through this, because this is where we are wrapping it up on estimate costs. I hope you learned from my presentation. I'd like to thank you for joining me. Take some time to go through this ITTOs, and please join me in my next presentation as I'm going to discuss determine projects.